2020. It's really hard to put into words without talking about coronavirus, that's for sure. In fact, I don't think a day went by from March until now, or even an hour, that I didn't say that word. But with good reason, because we care about keeping our community and our viewers safe. So we had to talk about it. But we also cared about our community's livelihood. How could we help keep businesses alive, make filing for unemployment less stressful, while also keeping people safe? That became our goal. On March 7th, it became a daily conversation. It was clear to us that people wanted answers, so we became advocates for people who felt like their voices weren't being heard.
I know there is heightened concern and worry about the virus. As I have said previously, our state is well prepared.
Emails, Facebook messages, phone calls, it all started to roll in. People confused, concerned, and scared.
Health officials say they are not advising any closures right now in connection with the case, but that could change if there's an outbreak in the future.
At the same time, the Big 12 basketball tournament that everyone in Kansas knows and loves was around the corner. People packed the arena to come together for a common ground, cheering on their college team.
Would like to apologize to all of our fans that are not going to be able to be in the venues.
But then it was announced no fans would be allowed in. A couple days later, the whole tournament was canceled. Then on March 17th, Governor Laura Kelly becoming the first state leader in the country to close school buildings.
That goes for both public and private schools, and that's going to affect 500,000 students.
Classes would move entirely online for the remainder of the year.
I think that's when we really knew, okay, this is real, this is serious. I remember our newsroom speakers just blaring this news conference and everyone really listening to every single word, taking it all in.
And the minute something new developed in this story, we worked as fast as possible to get it out to our viewers so they knew exactly what to expect, how to keep themselves and their families safe.
The parents that I talk to are scrambling now to figure out what to do with their kids.
That's also when everything else started to change. Testing sites started.
Drive-through clinic and be tested for the coronavirus.
Then stay-at-home orders. All the guidelines started getting more and more strict.
People have to start staying home at midnight on Thursday.
So that means about 2 more weeks until places like Junction City CrossFit can reopen.
Our goal was to make it easy as people could get it, to know exactly what was happening. From clear graphics to grocery store rules, I was personally going to weekly interviews with the hospital CEO. We covered it all. And then when things started to reopen in April, it was like it all started over again, with being as clear as possible for people, because we all felt like people were depending on us to give them that feeling of normalcy again.
And while it was great to see businesses get this chance to adapt to the new normal, we knew we still had more work to do. Through all of this time, dozens of events were canceled that nonprofits relied on for funding, and the people who relied on those organizations still needed help too, like the Ronald McDonald House, American Cancer Society, TARC, and so many others. So we created and launched the Weekend of Giving, dedicating 3 full days to promoting our partnership with the Community Foundation and a local credit union to collect donations for coronavirus relief in our county. The community helped us raise more than $25,000 in just 72 hours to give to local nonprofits to expand or create new programs to help with the emergency needs created by the pandemic.
We also felt like it was our duty to highlight all of the good in the community happening too. In a time where people had to physically separate, show how they were coming together anyway, getting food to local kids, to a Kansas couple just giving away money to high school grads who had their senior year taken away from them. When events and celebrations kept getting canceled and questions about what happens next kept coming, we brought in the experts to answer all of our viewer questions. We even had a one-on-one interview with Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Even with a good vaccine, you can't abandon public health measures.
We also brought in the governor, local health officers, the hospital CEO, school and business community leaders. But little did we know this wouldn't be our last town hall discussion. While we here in Kansas have been surviving through this pandemic since March like the rest of the country, it got really bad on the virus front in November. It was a scary time. Case numbers were going up, the hospital was at capacity, people were anxious, and the vaccine was just on the cusp of being authorized. So the amount of questions coming in really tripled by the day, to say the least. That's when we started hosting weekly conversations with hospital officials every Monday. We stayed on this beat since March 7th, day after day, advocating for our viewers. And it's our promise to keep doing that in months to come.